When you look at sort of what happened in the West this summer and what happened with you guys, where do you see you guys stacking up in the West?
I think it'll be similar to what it's always been. I think the Western Conference is just a tough conference to play in, period. Top to bottom, you have, some nights you're going to play against Golden State, and then you're going to play at, a team that's at the bottom of the West in the standings, and you can still lose that game as well. So I think it'll be the same. It'll be really, really tough. But the good thing is, this is the conference we've always played in. So, I think we just look at it the same. We prepare for a tough season.
Dame, what do you see as your guys' biggest obstacle this season?
I think our biggest obstacle is staying focused on what's in front of us. I think for me, I look at such a great season last year, and then we had a terrible postseason performance. So for me, as a competitor, I'm thinking to myself, I want to get back to the playoffs and have a better performance. But like I said, it's a super, super tough Western Conference, so we got to focus on what's in front of us each game in the regular season until we get to that position. And I think, as usual, being on the NBA team, it'll be distractions that come along about, players on the team, coaches. It'll always be that conversation.
What sticks with you most about the way the playoffs ended?
Just going out like that. I think we were riding high. We had a great season. We got home court for the first time since I've been here, and I think everybody had great expectations, for the postseason, and they just fell apart. They had a great game plan. They were playing great at the right time. We weren't playing great, and it happened. So I think it's something that we got to remember, something that we should be, motivated by. But we can't let it pull us down. It's something that you go through. Sometimes bad things happen, and it's how you respond to it. One team gets to win the championship, and everybody else goes home a loser. So, we was one of those teams. I don't think I got to speak to him about it. I think everybody felt the same, leaving that arena. You said it's also what? I don't see how we could be complacent about anything, man. I think it's a level of comfort with each other. We've, been teammates for a few years now. We know each other pretty well, so I think there's comfort, but I don't think we're in a position to be complacent.
You always do something in the summer personally to get yourself prepared for the next season. What kind of things did you do in the offseason this year?
I think this year I sat still, more than in the past. I wasn't traveling as much. I relaxed. I spent a lot of time with my son and my family. I did a lot of stuff around Portland. But the training was the same. I trained hard. I'm prepared for the season. But I relaxed. I just kicked back and, I took care of my body. I was banged up towards the end of the season. I had some injuries. So, I got all of that checked out and got my body right. Then, the training was the same.
Neil talked about the guys that you added all being big-time shooters. Are you looking forward to having more shooters out there and potentially having more space out there for you offensively?
Yeah, I think, we'll see when it has to happen. Once we get out there and defense start playing defense and they start trying to take us out and do what they do, we'll see then. But, I think it's hard to tell right now what's going to happen or what it's going to look like, so we'll see.
Dame, it seems like every year when you're up here, there's kind of a general theme, whether it be a disrespect or you guys wanting to prove to naysayers. What do you feel like the vibe is now in this year with this team?
I think This year, I feel like it's more to just continue what we've been doing. Not that just because we made the playoff, that makes it successful, but I think just doing what we do. We show up, we work hard. Our group is always together. We find a way to get it done and at least give ourselves a chance in the playoffs. And I think it'll be more of the same. Same thing.
Dame, man, kind of an odd question. Where do you like to get dinner in Portland?
I usually eat at home.
Oh.
Just eat in.
I usually eat at home. Sometimes I go to El Gaucho. I eat at the same places. I go to El Gaucho. Bamboo Sushi. I like a few places,
Dane, can you talk a little bit about what it's like living and working near major shoe companies and sort of how often you go on business and what that's like?
I mean, it's really good for me because I'm right here, and anytime they need to meet with me or need to run something by me, I can drive to them or they can drive to me. So I think it makes business run better, when it's not hard for them to find or contact me and vice versa. So also my involvement with everything that they want me to do, I'm here, so it makes it that much better.
Dame, I want to know about your off-season workout, the one in particular. What went in behind that? Getting shot with the Nerf gun and the hula hoop and stuff like that, man.
I'm on Twitter. When I need news, I go to Twitter. So I'm pretty active on Twitter, and I got a tweet from this guy, and he was like, I haven't seen Dame at a pickup in New York or LA. I haven't seen none of his workouts. He just been rapping and boxing all summer. He hadn't even trained all summer, and I was just like, I was talking to my trainer, and I was like, we could do a video right now and post it and kind of make fun of it, and that's what we did. I think you see a lot of stuff on Instagram and Twitter, all these videos of all these people doing all these things, and it's, in my opinion, it's kind of misleading. People, if you got to go up there and record every single thing you do and show proof of this and proof of that, then how real is it? What's really going on? So, we were just making fun. It was lighthearted.
Dame, in the past couple of years, several stars have asked or demanded for a trade from their team. I'm wondering if you have thoughts on that practice, not specific cases, but just overall thoughts on that happening.
I think, what you're seeing is a lot of teams forming. So it's, 2 and 3 stars on every team. And I think guys are dealing in reality, when you look at it and say, how am I going to beat Golden State with, the team that I'm looking at? And, they demand a trade, maybe looking for a better situation. But I can't really speak for, how they feel about where they are with the organization, how they are with their teammates, how they feel about their living situation, their family. It's a lot of things that go into that type of decision. And how committed you are, meaning what are you willing to give up, to remain a part of that organization. And for me, I've never asked for a trade or been in a position where I was like, I'm going to tell them to trade me, because I'm all about the challenge. But it's also that other side that I just mentioned where, my family is happy here. I'm happy with my situation here. So if a situation ever were to come up where something happened where I, felt disrespected or felt like I wasn't valued, or they felt like it was time for me to move on, then that would be the time. But, I don't feel that way.
Hey, Dame, back here, to your left, over here. Hello. Two-part question. Is there a player from last season that has maybe taken a leap since last year? Who would that be? And 2, did you get CJ an engagement present?
No, I didn't get him an engagement present. A little added pressure from, he just put a little more pressure on me. But, I think I need a little bit more time to see. Our Myers looked really good the past few weeks. I told him every time he comes back, I say he looks good every time, and it's like he's playing with more confidence and all these things. But this time it was a little bit different, and I told him that. He was challenging shots at the rim. He wasn't the loud Myers, drawing attention to himself. He was just kind of just doing his job, playing hard, making shots. But he just had a different look about him and different energy with him. So, I was just impressed with what I saw from him last week.
Dame, you talked about teams in the West having multiple stars right here. You guys open with the Lakers, and I'm just curious what you think about the Lakers and LeBron and how much better he's going to make them.
I mean, he's going to make them a lot better. He's the best player in the world. But I think similar to how it was when he came back to Cleveland, it takes time. He's joining young players. It's some vets. I think Rondo would really help, one of the smartest players in the league. Lance Stevenson, really experienced, been on some good teams. But then you got LeBron. So, I think they'll be good just because of those things. But it's anytime you bring guys in and they join in a young team, a new team, I think it just takes time to gel. Be on the floor together, learn each other, learn how to win together. It takes time. So I think it's good that we get them early. From what I've seen, I think he'll fit really well. I think he's a shot maker, and the way he plays is he can play really well off the ball or handling the ball. So having him as a threat that way, he'll be really good in that second unit. Even if he's on the floor with me and CJ or me or CJ, I think he'll be complimentary.
Dame, Neil talked about part of his offseason strategy being adding shooters, and Terry talked about adding some wrinkles to the offense this year. Are you at a position where they've talked to you about how that might affect you specifically, or is it too early and they're just saying, we're going to surround you with some guys and figure it out from here?
I mean, I know that we want to shoot more threes, and the ball movement is something that we've always emphasized. I feel like since I've been here, we've always had a lineup where we can shoot the ball. But I think this year it seems like that'll be more of an emphasis, having shooters out there, spreading the floor out, getting in the paint, making plays for each other, and making shots. I don't think it'll really impact me. I think my job would be the same.
Got time for 2 more questions.
Hey, Dame. The NBA recently reportedly lifted footwear color restrictions on sneakers. How are you going to take advantage of that usually?
Wear whatever shoe I want.
Like-
I mean, usually I get a little uncomfortable when the color's a little too far off from matching my uniform. At least it just look funny to me. But also in marketing, and when you're trying to in the shoe business, you gotta do that, especially when the NBA is giving you the opportunity to. So I'm pretty sure I'll be wearing a lot of different colors.
Dame, can you go into a little bit more detail of how you felt after the playoff loss and how you kind of processed it throughout the summer?
I was really disappointed. Anytime something goes wrong or something doesn't go as planned or we fail or, people talking down on us or talking bad about us, I take it personal, but, for our team, I take it personal. But then at the end of the day, I always go home and I look at myself and I say, well, Dame, you could have did this, or Dame, you could have did that, or you should have did this, you should have did that. You look bad doing this. I get really down on myself, not down in a way of like sad and feeling bad for myself, but it's just like I know I'm better than that. So I think I do a really good job of placing my energy in the right places. So I always look back and say, I made another All-Star game. I was first team All-NBA. That means I was one of the 5 best players last season, and a lot went into that. And then you get into a playoff performance where it's like I expected much better from myself. So it's disappointing in that way. I was really disappointed. but I didn't let it take away from, everything else that I accomplished. Being a 3 seed, it didn't make up for it. It didn't make up for it because I felt like it was just all wasted. But it's important that you acknowledge those other things and make sure that you don't forget it. It's important to appreciate those things. I think, one, they had a really good game plan. All season long, we counted on pick and roll. And, at the beginning of the games, first 2.5 quarters, maybe a little bit into the third quarter, it was movement and all these sets and stuff. But when the game really got on the line, or if the game got close, or if something had to happen, it was pick and roll for us. And they got after that from the jump. They were trapping. If we couldn't get to a pick and roll, it got to the point where I crossed half court, and it was my man and somebody else from the opposite side of the court sitting there. And when you look at that, it's like, okay, this happened for one game, and then the second game, we're trying to make all these adjustments, and it's hard to try to play a certain way or try to, do something so different from what you've done for an entire season and then be good at it. So, if they come with something in game one and it's working and they just getting better at it each game, and after game one we try to do something different than what we've done all year and we're trying to figure it out, it just makes an easier game for them and a tougher game for us. And I think that's kind of what happened.
This is the last question.
I'm not sure. I think for one, it's just, like I said, more of what we've done. Give ourselves a chance in the postseason again. And I think if you do that in the Western Conference, that can be considered successful, because it would be easy to miss the playoffs, the way it's going in the West right now.